It's your boy Mel from Co-op Kennels here again with another feeding tutorial. So today we're going to show you how you can make your own dog food at home, because when you're raising dogs like we're raising dogs and you want to have the best, in order to have the best you have to feed the best, which means you have to feed your opponents. So you got to try to get the best ingredients to try to get the most vitamins in your dogs, to give them the most vibrant colors, most obedient characteristics, you know what I'm saying, to make them the most intelligent. So it all starts with feeding. So first we have the sweet potatoes here. You can get these sweet potatoes from the store. We get them 40-pound box. As you can see, this is a whole box right here. So you can make sweet potato pie and all sorts of little treats, little baked sweet potatoes with the marshmallows on top and all that good stuff. As you can see, it's juice just squirting everywhere coming out of these sweet potatoes. So that's, ooh, look at that juice. That's the sugars, I presume, and probably vitamins and different things, different forms of sugars. Most dog foods are garbage. Mostly every dog food is garbage, let's say that. That's why you want to be able to, you gotta, if you want to compete, you gotta come up with your own special recipes. And this is a good recipe right here. This is about 6 sweet potatoes. I get the whole 40-pound box of sweet potatoes. You know what I mean? I can't disclose how much I got it for, but I'll let you know that I could sell it to you for $35 if you needed one. So first thing I did was boil these sweet potatoes. Some people feed them to their dogs raw. I suggest you boil them. It's my preference because it starts the digestion process, breaks down the oils, the fats, and things like that. Because dogs really can't digest just raw vegetables like that. So if you're giving your dogs raw vegetables, more than likely they really can't digest it. If you notice, when a lion kills a gazelle, or when a wolf or a pack of wild dogs kill an animal, the first thing they eat is the stomach, and then they eat the organs. The reason why they eat the stomach is because all stomachs are full of green vegetables that are partially digested, and nutrients and bacterias, and they call them probiotics and all that kind of stuff. Things that can go in a dog's stomach and start breaking down plant matter or different materials, because dogs really only digest meat, so they still need carbohydrates. All animals need them, so in order to get them they have to eat the stomach of an animal. So that's the first thing they all eat. Secondly, I have here is some barley. I'm assuming that barley is just basically like oatmeal or something. And barley, believe it or not, is a grain. It's unprocessed, it's unbleached, it's not the hull, it's not something that, it's not a waste product. And believe it or not, the first recipe ever written for dog food by the Egyptians was basically taking barley or some kind of wheat or some kind of grain, and you soak it in milk and then you feed it to the dogs. So the first dog food recipe ever by the Egyptians was actually barley. Grains mixed with milk. As you can see, look how beautiful that looks. This barley is not actually soaked in milk. This barley is actually soaked in turkey oil. Secondly, I have here is some pea protein. Well, peas. Peas? Beans. They call them peas. So if you're on your bag of dog food, it says pea protein, they actually mean beans. So I'm using these beans because I have beans. I soak the beans and then I boil the beans. So some dogs have allergies and they put it in dog food. So I said, you know what? Let me try it. So I'm gonna go ahead on and use these beans. They have their own, type of protein, so, and it's a protein that is used in a lot of dog foods to make it, as an alternative to chicken protein. But instead of using raw protein, which is controversial in itself because some people say that if you use too much protein, it's harming the dog's kidneys. So as you can see, you know, that looks beautiful. Okay. Secondly, I have some eggs. Eggs is also something in the dog food listed on the bag, but it's more than likely rotten eggs, old, dirty eggs, and they're definitely not fresh. So why not use fresh eggs instead of, you know, rotten eggs? I mix the eggs up so that I will be able to get an even amount of eggs per dog. Right now we have 5 dogs, so, you know, so I'm gonna mix that up. As you can see, my dogs are patiently waiting. When you feed your dogs food like this, they become highly intelligent. And instead of them acting crazy, jumping all around, they know it's coming, and they know this food will hold them over for the next 24 hours. Because at this point, we're just pretty much feeding once a day. But we're actually feeding dog bones throughout the day because my dogs roam the yard and they also roam the field. When I take them out for a field, they roam. And a hungry dog will eat anything. They'll eat tree branches. They'll eat anything they can find. So I try to give them dog bones, dog biscuits basically, which is kind of expensive. But what can I say? Okay. Secondly, I have, I'm going to start doing it like this. I have some garlic. Now, garlic is controversial for dogs. Some people say it does something to their blood sugar or this or that. I'm adding this garlic because my man Bando for Life, you can check him out. He's on YouTube. Shout out to Bando for Life. Cool dude. Don't really know him, but he's like in the same group of me. We're just like a small group of guys that just basically started on YouTube or been on YouTube for a while, but we don't have that many followers. But we got a lot of knowledge, and we're getting started. And I'm getting started, and he's just kind of like getting started too. So Bando said to use his garlic because it's spring, and I noticed a lot of flies outside. So the garlic is supposed to make the flies not want to bite your dogs. And I guess supposedly it does something else for their ears or some shit, but I don't know. But I'm giving it to them specifically for the purpose of stopping the vermin from biting them. When you let your dogs outside a lot, there's a lot of animals outside that will love to bite your dogs. And so I'm using like 2 teaspoons of this, 2 tablespoons of garlic. I don't want to use too much of it, but I think I might just put a little bit more in there because and that brings me to another subject. There's a lot of people out there that are like, don't cut your dog's ears, don't cut your dog's ears. Well, if you don't cut your dog's ears, one, when man created dogs, he kind of genetically modified them so their ears are really long and floppy. What that does is if a dog gets into like a scrap with another dog, their ears will get torn. If they're running through brush, their ears can get damaged. Their ears can get dirty because of the folds of skin. And the main reason why you cut your dog's ears is flies will bite them to shreds. Your dog's ears will be black. If you leave your dog outside for any period of time, or people that have kennels know what I'm talking about. Flies will wreak havoc on your dogs. Wreak havoc.
All right.
So next, put a little bit more of this in there. Next I have this sauerkraut. A lot of people put this sauerkraut in their dog food. Shout out to No Days Off Kennel. He's a new up-and-coming guy on YouTube. No Days Off. Shout out to you, my nigga. Oh, my boy, my bad. But this sauerkraut, I believe it has prebiotics or probiotics or whatever. It's fermented. So I think the main goal for this is it goes in the dog's stomach and adds some kind of like, Foli bacteria that's going to break down the stuff in the dog's stomach and help the digestive tract, help clean them out. So I'm going to go ahead on and put, 3-4 teaspoons of this in there. Today's recipe is high on the grain, on the vegetable side. I don't normally use this much vegetables, but if you want your dog, if you're competing for looks, you want to, you want to basically try to outdo the next man. So you want to have a proper blend and, of things. And it has to be tasty. I must add, it must be tasty. The proper amount of vitamins and minerals and different things and probiotics. People are buying them. Or you can buy them or you can go in your refrigerator and pull them out. This is another thing, cheese. Cheese has good bacteria, bad bacteria, probiotic, foliar, whatever you want to call it. Because cheese has been fermented as well. I'm adding the cheese. Cheese also has a nice amount of protein, not too much, and a nice amount of calcium, but not really too much. But what this is the tasty factor. They love this stuff. So I'm adding 6 ounces of cheese, Parmesan, mozzarella cheese, whole milk cheese. So it's whole milk, whatever. This is the tasty factor. This just gets them really going. Each time I mix something in, it's always a reason behind it. It may look like I'm just throwing stuff in here, but I'm really just, trying to give the dog the perfect blend. Because I can't kill a deer and let him eat the stomach or whatever. And you can't really, predict all the things the dog needs. Secondly, I have some protein powder. This is wheat protein. I brought it for myself, but I'm not really using it, so I'm gonna go ahead on and give this to the dogs. I used to give this to puppies. When I first had 4-week-old puppies, people give them to me when I was younger. I would give them this with water. They blow up, they survive. Probably wasn't the best thing for them, but it worked. This also tastes pretty good, I guess, to dogs, and it's packed with vitamins. So why buy Bully Max for $50? Unless Bully Max, you want to sponsor me and give me some products, you can go out and get this protein powder right here for $20. You can have a shake and give your dogs a scoop every now and then. So Bully Max, shout out to you, baby. Bully Max hack. Mix that on in. Gives it the vanilla flavor. They put vanilla in dogs' medicines and, just go ahead and hook them on up. All y'all out there paying $50, $60 for those little things. This was $20. And also, since I'm using a lot of vegetables in here, I want to kind of raise my protein level up. Next, I have coconut oil. I believe they say coconut oil helps with fleas and vermin too. But the main thing for coconut oil, I believe, is for the fur. And that's also with the barley. It gives them a shiny coat. And supposedly they like to eat it. So I just put I'll put 4 ounces of this in here. 4 ounces of that. So it's gonna, give the dog some healthy fats. It's from plants, so it's pure, it's natural, it's non-hydrogenated, it's non-refined. It's refined, but it's not hydrogenated or whatever that means. No hydrogen in it, so it breaks down good in their systems. Supposedly they love it. Little hacks. And last but not least, I have the chicken thighs. So this brings us to the next controversial subject. So as you can see, I baked these chicken thighs straight in the oven for probably 30 minutes. And the fat broke down and the grease broke down. And the reason why I did that and mixed it all in is because, some dogs are not going to eat vegetables. They don't want to be duped. They don't want to be tricked into eating certain things, but they need to eat it. So you want to just do the right blend in order to, get them really going. And anybody that's been locked up, this is like an all-natural jailhouse hookup for dogs. Blow up, or go to the kitchen or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? This is how you cook for dogs in one bowl. So next, looks really good. Well, it doesn't really look any good that much anymore, but this is pretty good. So I probably really don't need to go this far with it and put this almond milk in there. But hey, why not? So I'm gonna take this almond milk, pour a little bit in each bowl to kind of soak in the dog food. When you're feeding dog food, you want to kind of like moisten it a little bit. So I'm gonna moisten mine with this almond milk, and that's actually gonna add a ton of vitamins as well. So one thing I want to say, back to this bone thing. A lot of people don't believe in bones, and they don't believe in cooking their bones. They don't believe in giving their dogs the bones. Well, when you cook these bones in the oven and they're cooking inside of the juices of their own chicken, they tend to soften up. As you can see, I can break these bones with my hands. Well, I can break with my hand. That's kind of stiff. But some people believe you shouldn't cook the chicken. So that's going to bring me to this. I feed my dogs bones. I'm from Philly. In Philly, a dog eats scraps and the dog eats bones. So whatever the person does, whatever is in the house people don't eat, they scrape their plates off into the yard and feed the dog. That's how I was raised, and that's what it is. So I think that you can feed dogs bones. Some people don't feed dogs bones. Just like with the eggs. Some people feed the dog the eggshell. I don't feed my dogs eggshells because I feel like they'll choke on the eggshells. But to each his own. If your dog's not choking, cool. If your dog can handle the bones, cool. But if your dog never had bones, I wouldn't suggest cooking the bones or giving the bones. And that brings me to another subject. Some people don't believe you should cook the chicken. But there's a pro to cooking chicken, and there's pros to cooking chicken, and there's cons to cooking chicken. The pros to cooking the chicken is digestibility. I believe that when you cook this chicken, you break it down, it's more digestible for the dog. People say dogs are wolves, but there's also another theory out there that dogs come from their own species. And I'm on that theory. I believe dogs come from their own species. The species that can scavenge and just eat anything. And they mostly came up scavenging human food. So, with that being said, humans discard bones. Dogs will eat bones. My personal theory. Some people say dogs are wolves. You put a dog in the wilderness, it will die. Dog ain't a wolf. But everybody's entitled to their own personal opinion. So I'm under the belief that if you cook the food, it makes it more digestible, and that bones won't harm the dog. Experts disagree. That's my favorite saying. So another expert will say feed your dogs raw. My personal opinion on feeding raw is it's cool. But the con to feeding raw is this. You're going to get meat everywhere. That meat will then attract flies, dangerous bacteria. And some people believe that dogs are strong and dogs can do anything. Dogs are not really strong. Their immune systems are not really that strong because man takes care of them and man provides an environment for them to live in. They're not subjected to natural selection on a great scale. So I believe personally dogs, they get sick easy. They get little infections. They're allergic to this. They're allergic to that. So I'm under the impression that dogs are not really their immune system are not really as strong as you may think. So cooking the meat will help, clean the bacteria off of it, make it more digestible. Well, some people believe that giving them raw meat is a good thing. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you got a bunch of dogs and you're giving them raw meat, the raw meat's getting everywhere. Salmonella can break out, or certain kinds of bacteria can break out from meat. And you'll end up touching it. It can end up affecting you, if not the dog. So unless you're very clean, feeding raw may not be the best solution. But, you can do it sometimes, but maybe not every time. My personal opinion. You do what you think is best. So next, you know how to mix this up. It's not mixed that well. So I'm going to go ahead on and put it in the bowls. I have 5 dogs. Milana, as you can see, she's 6 months old, and she's about 80 pounds. Sometimes it's like, what are you using to put the weight on these dogs? How are you doing it? So I mix it up so that they can't, try to get away from there. Also, I have 4 health dog food in there. I have the chicken and rice, and I have the chicken and potatoes or something. You know, For Health. I wouldn't recommend For Health dog food unless y'all sponsor me and send me some good food, but I wouldn't recommend For Health dog food. I recommend Victor, although a lot of people have been shunning Victor out there. Now these are some big bowls right here. And then, you know, it's a lot of vegetable material in here. So the dog is going to, you know, probably poo a lot. But one thing I can say is the dog system is going to be clear. And if the dog can break down the carbohydrates the right way, the dog is going to be swole. As you can see, Debo, he's about almost 50 pounds. He came in here weighing 15 pounds, maybe about 2 months ago. So at this point, Debo is currently almost 50 pounds. Well, after he eat this bowl of food, he definitely be 50 pounds. He gained 35 pounds in 2 months. Healthy weight. So we're gonna sit these down, and since it's so much food, we don't have to worry about them eating each other's bowls. We're gonna let the judges taste testers be the judge of it. And believe me, if they don't like it, they ain't gonna eat it. You like that, don't you, girl? You like it, Debo boy? Show me your stance, boy. And I bet you your dogs don't eat like that when you put a bowl of dog food down. I can almost guarantee it. I can guarantee it. Ain't nobody fucking with my feeding techniques. You try all you want. You gotta feed to succeed. Carl Kennel Way.